as has been a theme, Sottle annoying me is one thing, but I was going to say Sol and I are going to be kicking off the Swiss stage of the playoffs for you guys. And it's going to be round one, of course, the America's Fall playoffs. We're here, and we're going to be bringing you Amnesiac versus Bloodyface. Going to be kicking off with, and I'm looking forward to this one as we talked a little bit about Saiyan, Muzzy, and Amnesiac in the pre-show just then.
Yep.
We talked about the Tempo Stomp lineup on close, as you know, the Saiyan spots are a little bit different. But let's talk about how the way these two lineups interact and what Tempo Storm and Amnesiac specifically are trying to do here.
Amnesiac is trying to hurt people who have almost Bloodyface's exact lineup really, really hard. He bans out the Even Warlock, as you see he does. He even has a little bit of tech in there to make him more resilient against small effect board clears in a few of his decks. And then he's just trying to be way too fast for some of these very slow decks like Death Rattle Hunter and Quest Rogue.
Yeah, and I think it's going to be a big ask for Bloodyface, to be completely honest, because I look at this and just feel bad. You know, when I look at Bloodyface's lineup here, because Death Rattle Hunter, to beat the aggro decks, things have to go very well for you in the early game. Very, very well indeed. And then you look at the rest. Evenlock's been banned out. Then he has the Mali Druid, which I do quite like for this tournament. But then the Quest Rogue. And yes, Quest Rogue can get it done, but it shouldn't get it done. So, you know, you can't rely on Quest Rogue winning these aggro matchups.
Interesting. Bloodyface, I believe, is playing the exact Quest Rogue list that I favor, cutting one pod to make room for Fan of Knives and keeping the Wax Elementals, which I seem to still value quite a lot higher than a lot of people do. That was the cut that a lot of people have made in APAC, for example, to make room for the Fan of Knives. But the crucial card there is Fan of Knives, which has, in the last few weeks, become borderline core in Quest Rogue now, just because it gives you so much extra game against some of the aggro matchups. Particularly, I think the aggro lineup that you want to run Quest Rogue into is Odd Paladin token. And that is what Amnesiac is running. So we might see Bloodyface put some work in with the Quest Rogue. However, I was mentioning small damage AoE effects. Amnesiac does have a copy of your boisterous Bard in his Paladin, which can help play around some of those small fan effects.
Because let's look at game number one. This Hunter list from Amnesiac. Subject 9 Hunter, I believe most people are calling it, is becoming
yeah, that guy.
Perfect. It's becoming extremely popular. I will say Amnesiac's list makes me just feel weird about Hunter right now, because one Animal Companion, one Flanking Strike, one Bear Shark. Animal Companion and Flanking Strike, two of the best Hunter cards, in my personal opinion. But instead, you know, he's got that Mossy Horror tech, he's got the double Houndmaster, of course, the Subject 9 and Deathstalker Rexar. He has a lot of early game, the double tracking, double Secret Keeper, double Diamol. There's a lot of early options, but it feels weird to be cutting a card like Flanking Strike. I feel like it's so good.
I agree. Very strong card, but you have to make room for these options somewhere, and Amnesiac clearly valuing just a few tech options with, of course, that Mossy Horror that you really do need to have a secure matchup against Druid, let's say. And, of course, that extra explosivity with the Secret Keeper in the early game. But none of those real tech decisions are playing a factor right now, because Amnesiac just has the classic. Secret, Spellstone, Spellstone. Let's go.
Yeah, this is scary, especially versus Druid. There is Starfall, so that there is something that Bloodyface can do, but it often just isn't quite enough. Starfall into Spreading Plague, though.
Yeah, no Tainted Zealot or Blood Mage Thanos in Bloodyface's list, though. So Starfall is still going to be a little bit ineffective
with
against
the Spreading Plague, though. Spreading Plague and Tyrant.
Sure.
I will say now, Bloodyface seems to... He's got game. You know, a lot of the time versus Druid, if you just go quickly to that Spellstone, as we said, Druid doesn't really have the answers, but look how heavy this ramp is. And look at these options now.
He managed to draw, actually, which is interesting. I guess with the Twig already activated, he doesn't need all the mana in the world, and then he's curving into Spreading Plague quite nicely. He just needs some more options to be resilient for a few more turns. So the draw makes sense.
Yeah. He has options now as well, because this Tyrant can clear off one of these 2/3s quite easily. The Spreading Plague is going to set up for a very nice Starfire with 2 mana to spare for those Spellstones if required for extra damage as well. So this is looking okay for Bloodyface. I feel like he is reasonably reliant on actually drawing the UI pretty soon, though. Now that he did use that Nourish for draw, it means he has got time to get there. But if he doesn't, you can see him using all of his cards very quickly in the next 2 turns.
I think this 1/3 does go into the 4/4 here. It seems to be what Amnesiac is debating. You know, 1 damage face is 1 damage face. It can be very valuable in this position, but you don't really want to be messing around with a double trade into that, and it gives you a little bit of extra security against Spreading Plague, but Amnesiac immediately disagrees and just pushes that one.
Is there any reason not to Spreading Plague here? I don't think so. Anything else feels way too fancy to be worth it. I'd rather if they have the second Spellstone. Well, guess what? It's a rough game. You know that's just the way it is. But I think this is so powerful versus what Amnesiac has that you just have to. And you're only a few turns away from that Twig Rocket as well.
Yeah, and it's the Starfall in hand, as you mentioned as well, right? It just pairs up so nicely in this spot.
Bloodyface also working out whether he wants to even attack with the Tyrant and activate the secret. He's going to go for it and just kill off a 3-3. I mean, that is a lot of power you are removing from the board, to be fair. And it kind of negates the fact that he has one less spreading play as well, because of the Tyrant being on board. So it kind of works out as an even trade. It's the Venom Strike, though, so an extra Cobra is on the board now and can clear off one of these 1-5s pretty easily. See the value there, just jabbing them in the face, because guess what? You do not want to take extra damage against this Hunter deck.
Hello.
The power of Druid Ramp. No, you cannot Mossy me on curve to beat spreading play.
Right.
This is the big key why this deck's becoming popular and why it is at the power level it is right now, is Hunter shouldn't be allowed to draw cards. I think that's been set in stone since almost the beginning, once Buzzard got nerfed. But even though they're all secrets and you have to play a lot of them to make it worthwhile, Subject 9 draws a lot of cards for Hunter.
Amnesiac is in a mess right now. That Starfall is devastating, and then look at the next couple of turns for Bloodyface. He clears this board, he pushes some damage, he has board control, then he has, what, an 18 mana turn next turn available to him with Malagos and Floop in hand, or Lich King and Floop in hand if he wants to go that route. This is going to get messy real quick.
Yeah, to be honest, even the Tarantus, like, a Freezer Trap isn't going to cut it when you've got minions on board. Like, Bloodyface does not have to worry because Hunter does not deal with this board that well. There are no explosive shots or anything in the deck, right? So you could even just drop Tarantus and say, deal with this untargetable 12-12. Yes, now, like I said, the 2 Spellstones are available to tidy up this board.
Warriors of the frozen.
Does the swing need to happen this turn? Probably not, right? I was going to go for it.
I don't see a reason why you don't want 10 extra mana this turn.
Yeah, I guess there's just as much as there's no real answer to the Tarantus. There's not a good answer to any of these anyway.
Right.
I was just wondering if you wanted a huge turn, but I guess with no swipe in hand, you don't need the the God swipe with the double melee. Crackling Razor, hell of a card. Not that good though.
Seems unlikely to dig him out of this mess.
Also as well, like, one thing to note, there are 2 Ferocious Howls, 2 Branching Paths in the deck, and Malfury, and 2 UIs. Bloodyface hasn't even gained actual, like, good armor this game.
He hasn't gained a single point outside of hero power,
And
right?
it's like, well, the second he draws one of those cards, Amnesiac cannot be able to, won't be able to keep up. And hello, Mr. Floop.
Anti-magic shell and an 11 mana Moonfire.
Just a cheeky Spellstone to throw on top.
Unless this Wandering Monster is the best minion in the game, Bloodyface is going to take a very quick walk through this game 1.
Wow. Done and dusted. The Malagos Druid takes a win. I did like Malik for this tournament, to be honest. But he didn't expect it to do this well versus Hunter already. He got the job done, and he said Bloodyface is going to get rolled over and making a good start with his Druid. I do feel like that was one of his better deck, well, his best deck that he has left to take down some of these decks, so I feel, because the Quest Rogue is, like I said, everyone says, oh, you can beat anything with Quest Rogue, it's that powerful. On average, though, it doesn't work. And then, yeah, I think his Hunter's a little bit scary as well.
I'm not going to get into this today. There was a show match, though, recently, right? Quest Rogue against Token Druid, and I believe the Quest Rogue came out 6-4 or something like that. I didn't actually watch it. I'm just reporting what I saw on Twitter.
The big 10-game sample size.
Yeah, I mean, but, a 10-game sample size of top-level play is equivalent to a much larger sample size of just random games on ladder. So, but I agree. Mali Druid, just by nature of having Druid cards, of course.
Double Ferocious Howl
Right,
as well.
yeah. And you saw there, I think if Bloodyface could just pick cards out of his deck, he would have chosen very, very close to what he had there. He had ramp into more ramp with Nourish that he chose to draw with. That was his option. And then just spreading Plague Starfall combination was nuts. And then on the exact turn where he had board control, he had an 18 mana explosive game-winning turn with basically all of his remaining cards. It was perfect.
It was. Getting away with the Twig, super important in that matchup. And in most matchups with Malygos Druid, but that's only game one. We've got plenty more Hearthstone coming up for you guys, so get ready for game number 2.
Well played! In this video, I'm going to teach you how to improve your Hearthstone skills by showing you some cool math tricks that the pros use to spot lethal damage. No calculators required. Spotting lethal easily is a combination of 2 techniques, sequenced addition and off timing. I'm going to go over both in order. Sequenced addition is a simple mathematical trick that'll make it so you'll never have trouble calculating damage on complex board states again. First, stop trying to add up all that damage at once. Most pro players find it easier to find lethal by grouping damage into 3 categories: on board, in hand, and hero power. Essentially, before ever looking at your cards, add up your total damage on the board. Then, figure out how much damage the spells in your hand contribute, for example the swipe in your hand. Last, add your hero power's damage. By sequencing your lethal addition like this, you'll make it much easier to accurately count the total damage you have, and you'll avoid accidentally forgetting to count a damage source. Sequenced addition should be paired with our second technique, off timing. Essentially, off timing refers to a technique that most pros use to perform lethal math during their opponent's turn. Rather than checking for lethal during your turn, when you have to actually make plays, you should train yourself to check for lethal every time you pass to your worthy foe. As you begin adding, you'll quickly see if you're close to lethal or not. If you're close, finish the math, and keep the total updated over your opponent's turn. It's much easier to keep your lethal count current than you might think. Just subtract any minion that your opponent kills, and at the start of your turn, add the new card you drew for your turn if it contributes damage, and that's it. If you use this technique, you'll start your turn instantly knowing if you have lethal on board or not, rather than struggling to do the math as the rope ticks down. Now, you know how the Hearthstone pros are able to spot lethal so quickly and reliably. By sequenced addition, or always adding lethal in ordered groups, your math will be accurate and easier to perform. And by off timing, you'll be doing this math during your opponent's turn, when you're not pressured to make plays. So try out these 2 techniques together and watch yourself win more Hearthstone games and finish higher in HCT tournaments. Thanks for watching, everyone. If you enjoyed this video, brought to you by the coaches at GamerSensei, please visit playhearthstone.com/esports for more of the Well Played series and all things Hearthstone esports.
Well played!
The first test of the aggro lineup versus the control on stream is not going too well for the aggro player, as Amnesiac is currently 0-1 down versus Bloodyface, taking a win with that Druid. Now moving on to the Questro, because we're moving to game number 2. This is a, I would say, a much nicer matchup for Amnesiac here, and this is the hurdle, I think, for Bloodyface, at least from my view of these lineups.
Yeah, I mean, I think he had a decent matchup first up. It's just that Bloodyface kind of ran the Stone Cold nuts into him, right? Like, Amnesiac actually drew Mossy Horror, and it wasn't good enough, because it was just ramp into Plague into Starfall, and he didn't have a board by the time that his Mossy Horror could come down, and that way he's not pushing any initiative. But yeah, essentially, Hunters versus combo rogues have generally worked out pretty well in the way of the Hunter. When it was Miracle Rogue and Face Hunter back in the day, that was probably like the most extreme example, because it was just pure damage versus damage permanence on the rogue side. This is not quite that, because A, there isn't damage permanence, there's Vicious Scale Hides in the deck that can heal up, and of course this isn't pure damage from the Hunter deck either, but it's still far enough down the slide on that spectrum where the Hunter has a good time.
It is, and looks like Bloodyface has double Glacial Shard and a Fan of Knives to kick off, so he does have the options to try and stall for some time. there is a Sonya as well. So if you can piece together some kind of a crazy turn with Sonya, that's often how you win this game. So, outside of Quest, best card in the deck?
Yes.
Okay.
No further discussion. Sonya is clearly
Giggling
outside
Inventor's
of
a pretty
Quest.
good card.
Giggling Inventor is a pretty good card, I'll
Come on.
give you that. But Giggling Inventor gets a lot better when you then drop a Sonya the
That
next
is
turn.
very true. That is very true. Amnesiac doing pretty okay with these just early one-drops because he only plays 4 playable one-drop minions. And having 2 of them ready, 1 and 2, it's a pretty good start.
Sure is. Bloodyface did choose to just develop Quest on turn 1, which might seem obvious, but with the threat of a growing Secret Keeper, there was a world perhaps where you like coined Dagger there just to put it down as a 1-1, maybe try to eliminate it over 2 turns if there wasn't a secret being played. And if there was a secret played, at least you can then like contest it with a Glacial Shard, right? You'd have like 2-2 versus 2-2 in that world. Now he's kind of faced with this awkward position where this Secret Keeper could start getting out of hand very soon.
It should be relatively safe with these 2 Glacial Shards now. It means 1 should live because
Yeah, this is great.
Bow is the only way to kill something from hand, or kill command obviously, or a Huffer, which means all of those are only singular sources of damage,
Yeah.
and there's nothing else in the deck that can actually kill both of them.
That's the part of this play that I really, really like. Everything that you said is spot on, but then you live in the world where the turn 3 play isn't Bow, and it's Animal Companion or Bear Shark, and then you are just winning the game
Yes.
immediately, right?
Because of Sonya.
Yeah, exactly. If they Animal Companion and roll Huffer, great. They have to trade their Huffer with a 2-1, right? It's just miserable for
3
them.
mana for 1 mana.
Yeah.
And most importantly, you have the second Glacial Shard. This is tough for Amnesiac now. No play is good, but I feel like you just want the extra minion on board. You just have to go 3 wide.
There's also the option here to track into a secret for Amnesiac to give himself more game against these Glacial Shards trading off, which they look very, very likely to do.
It's extremely likely. He's running, what, 4, 5, 6, 7 secrets
Yeah.
total in this version. I know there's some debate about how many you should run, but you definitely want, I would say, more than 6. Whether you go to 8 or not is a bit of a question.
It's an option we didn't even discuss, but I was just looking at just kill command a 2-1 to retain some of his board presence and to play around Sonya that little bit as well. And now that does make Bloodyface's lines a little bit more awkward because he doesn't really have enough guarantee that this Sonya shard line is going to work out now, because this is only shard number 3 that he'll generate off the Sonya with no further bouncers in hand. He is taking a bet if he decides to go with that line, but I feel it's an unfavored matchup. It's a bet that you just feel like you have to take, and he can just put Amnesiac right back in the same position and say, well, now there's 2 minions that you have to kill, and you can't do that on 4 mana.
Yeah, and I like this because although it's not 2 Glacial Shards, it's almost the same board state, right? Because you need to kill Sonya because we've just called it the best card in the deck, but also if you leave Glacial Shard up, well, what if there's a Brewmaster? What if there's a bounce effect, either in hand or drawn? Then you're still in a dangerous spot. He did pick the Spellstone, so Amnesiac almost has to play Freezing Trap now, I feel. You not think?
Against this third, you're giving them a bounce effect on their shard, right? But with
It's
no
an
way to kill the Sonya.
So my worry is if you're taking Spellstone, you want to just try and end the game as quickly as possible, and you aren't doing that with 5 mana 2/3/3s. 5 mana 3/3/3s might be just enough to push through.
Sure.
I think you're so far behind now that you have to just accept the fact you are behind.
This is the play that I wanted to make. Just take.
It's gonna go Huffer.
Yeah, exactly.
It's gonna go Huffer.
That was my play. 33% of the time, you roll Huffer, you kill the Sonya, and maybe they don't find the bounce effects to complete their Glacial Shard. That was the world that I lived in. That might be influenced by the fact that I'm staring at Bloodyface's hand, which is a hand that does run somewhat dry if he whiffs off the card draw with no more bounces in hand. But yeah, that was the line that leapt out to me. Just try and take that Huffer and just try and end the game.
I actually forgot what his choices were from tracking. Do you remember?
It was a second Freezing Trap and the Spellstone. I know that much, I think.
Okay, so the third card we don't know. Okay.
No, wait, that's not right, 'cause he only plays 1 copy of Freezing Trap.
Oh, yeah, he plays 1 Freezing Trap.
Yeah, okay. Then I have no idea.
Okay. It's just, I don't know, I feel like if you're picking Spellstone, you just need to just go and have 3/3/3s plus whatever's left on the board. I hope it's enough. Didn't go for that way.
Nice to meet you.
This is a good like halfway house play now, because again we're back in this awkward spot where Amnesiac would have to kill the Sonya first and then eliminate the Glacial Shard to play around a top deck bouncer. But even if that happens, Bloodyface now has some investment into his South Sea deckhand and 27 health to play with if he does need to reset the game.
I don't know. I think having Mossy means that you could have done the Spellstone play.
You really wanted him to freezing trap, didn't you?
Well, the thing is, the thing you're bouncing is then 3 mana or 4 mana, depending,
Sure.
of course. Well, they replay it the once, and you've got 3/3/3s plus Mossy follow
But
up.
they still then have the Sonya and a Glacial Shard on the board next turn when you have a frozen board, right?
Yeah.
Whereas in the world where you go Animal Companion and get Huffer, you're actually solving the problem. You're not just delaying it for a turn.
True.
You don't get to play Freezing Trap the next turn into a board that just has Sonya Glacial Shard on it when they've fourth bounced their Glacial Shard.
Yeah. So looks like double secret's the way forward. Not much else to do. As I said, the Spellstone for 2/3/3s just isn't good enough at this point. So Bloodyface will get the knowledge now of what at least one of these secrets is. I think you attack the minion, right? So we'll see the other one. Yeah, Venom Strike.
Okay, go ahead and freeze that up now, and then even with this 3 mana shard, he's still in great shape because of that prep in hand.
Yeah.
But he could also just choose to load out minions if he wanted here, because Hunter can't really answer the wide board state. But I think going 4/4 to protect your minions on board makes sense here, just because one of them is exactly something.
And also, absolutely worst case, can just vanish next turn. You know, having the vanish there is just nice because you reset and you reload way faster than the Hunter does.
Yeah, I mean, generally with Quest Rogue, spending 6 mana exactly on Vanish and ending turn is usually pretty bad for you. You want to wait until 7 or 8 at least so you can just Vanish and play a couple of 4/4s afterwards. So I'd be a little surprised to see Bloodyface do this here, but specifically against Spellstone, it's so much more expensive to replay the stuff.
I'm talking a worst case scenario, which is a 4 minion Spellstone. Right. You have a, you know what, let's just reset and I think I can beat him going forward. Because each of those minions are 3 mana.
Yeah.
Like, you cannot just refill that quickly at all.
I think with the Scalehide pickup now, he's in pretty good shape to be able to just trade this down. Especially since there's a poisonous minion on board.
It actually helps Bloodyface.
It actually does.
Oh, going for Glacier instead. Oh no, this is tricking me.
Interesting. I'm not sure I like this.
God, I have ultimate power when going Quest Rogue plays, and considering I just don't have the level of experience with the deck that most people do, it's glorious.
Sorry, I know what you're referring to, and I don't want to bring this up again, okay? Don't try and present it like you're some kind of intuitive Quest Rogue genius.
I didn't say it was good power. I just said I have it.
All right. I do wonder about that Vanish, though, because he had so much clearing power with the charges that he had in hand that it just seemed somewhat unnecessary. And like I said, like Vanish just gets so much better when you have excess mana available at the end to replay
Even
things.
1 turn later.
Yeah.
You know, you can just play something, right?
I have a thing now. You do not.
Also as well, just a note in case you're not too familiar with this Hunter deck, there is no Unleash the Hounds, which becomes quite relevant when there are a lot of 3/3s on the board versus 4/4s. So no Unleash the Hounds, which means Bloodyface is susceptible to mainly an explosive trap that will clear off 1 health, or 2 health, of course, minions. But even then, with a Sonya in hand, you can flex that quite easily to be able to get some more value going in. Now Giggling Inventor, and this feels so similar to the previous game, where Amnesiac's just not at the best opening hand by any means. But Bloodyface just got there.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? You just and now I feel like we're hitting
Shard Sonya, yeah.
I feel like yet again we're hitting the point of no return for Amnesiac.
Yep.
Like, this is a extremely hard, if not impossible, game to come back from now. What do you make of this Hunter list in general? Do you think it's as powerful as everyone is purveying?
I don't, to be perfectly honest. I think it has a somewhat inflated win rate by the fact that people, in the very early days, like when Ball Control was jamming it to like top 10 legend, people were just mulliganing for Death Rattle Hunter. right? So he just has huge edges.
And those are
that
very
way.
different mulligans, in case
Right.
you don't know.
Yeah, and then when it came around and started to become like a factor in playoffs, you know, the first week it had a massive win rate, I believe, because again, no one would have really put in like huge practice sessions against the deck. But I think when you understand like the correct outcomes against all the secrets and all that kind of stuff, the win rate of the deck does like drop dramatically.
Right.
It's a deck that's very easy for your opponent to misplay against. Let's put it that way. Oh, any more side topics you'd like to talk about while this game is completely over in every way, Raven?
Well, anything? Let me
Shoot.
think.
Yeah.
Amnesiac's playing it out, but I don't quite know what his grand plan is. There we go. I was just about to say, I feel like Amnesiac is a concede player. And by that, I don't mean anything. Let me explain before. I know you know what I mean. But I mean, like, once a lot of players, even though they know there's almost zero chance they're going to win, most players play it out, right?
Yeah.
But we do get a subset of players that will be like, no, it's just lost, concede. And they take that sort of mental attitude of saying, well, like you just said, is there anything you want to talk about while this game ends?
Yeah.
Well, Amnesiac also knows he's in that spot. So I was surprised when he started to play out that turn. I was like, what combination of things is he even going for? Like, the best Rexar ever played, but then the concede followed up pretty quickly, and Bloodyface leading 2-0 over Amnesiac, and control lineup's getting there.
Yeah, it's the Death Rattle Hunter that's remaining, though, and I think that is the scariest
It's okay.
deck for Bloodyface.
Coin, egg, Stalker, play
the way his games have been going so far, yeah, we're about to see the absolute nuts opener from Bloodyface on Hunter, because he has had some extremely oppressive draws up against what Amnesiac has been throwing at.
I will say, games of, not that it's relevant quite now, Amnesiac obviously has to win with every single one of his decks, but out of Amnesiac's lineup, I felt that the Paladin, is impossible to beat as Hunter, even with a decent start. Like, I struggle so much in that matchup as the Hunter, because you just cannot deal with 1-1s. Like, it's so difficult. It's absurd. And then you blink and you are dead.
Yes.
But let's get back onto this. So Hunter versus Hunter, but basically the two halves of the coin here for the current Hunter archetypes.
Bloodyface does has that candle shot, but he's going to need more help than that to be able to answer the early start that Amnesiac has.
I mean,
But candle
this
shot,
hand doesn't look bad though, Sol.
yeah, candle shot chain gang is
On the
pretty
coin.
solid.
Even Flanking Strike and the Grizzly, unless it's a Subject 9, the Grizzly's got absolutely fine health, and there are no Hunter's
True.
marks in Amnesiac's deck.
That's also true.
There's no way he has to just hack through the health.
It's true. I wasn't going to keep the Grizzly. I was like barely
I
even.
think I would have
was
kept
barely
it.
even considering it. But when you present the argument to me,
Well, Candle Shot, Hero Power, why not? You can coin
no,
Siren.
sorry, candle shot Kelliseth.
Oh, I was saying in the mulligan.
Yeah.
Come on. I don't know. I think with coin, going Saronite into a Grizzly in which they've probably got no cards left seems pretty solid to me.
No, I'd agree.
It's going to be a Hunter's Mark, coin, Candle Shot.
I don't think he's going to mark it.
Okay.
I think coin flanking strike ends up being too important here. Even if a secret comes down this turn, you're contesting it with Kelliseth on the following turn, so I don't think there's a massive reason to panic.
Worth considering, though.
Yeah,
because
I know. I think Bloodyface did.
Yeah, at this point in the series, also, you don't really want to just throw away a game to like, oh, Secret Keeper soloed me. You know, when there was an option for it not to. But yeah, the Prince Kelliseth and now MCT as well, looking pretty solid overall. MCT, the natural predator to the fully buffed Spellstone from Amnesiac.
It's the Wandering Monster, which is the one secret that's unplayable here.
Oh.
But does track into a freezing trap, which can keep it alive, but it's a Prince Kelliseth that's hanging around on the board, and it's two very powerful cards that he's having to burn into the ether.
Wait, this is perfect.
Is it? Tell me more.
So you skip Freezing Trap because you want to play around MCT, so you don't want the Spellstone to play 4 wolves, sorry.
Okay.
And you just deal with the Secret Keeper trade the Kelliseth.
Okay.
I don't know what you take about the other two, though. I'd naturally lean towards Rexar, but are you ever going to win a Rexar war?
Right, that's the question, isn't it?
Like, I think Flanking Strike ends up being better.
Yeah. Is this a Rexar matchup, or is it a matchup where you actually just want to hold on to your small hero power? This is a really, really, really
What did he go
hard
for?
decision.
Oh, he went for Rexar.
Okay.
Wow, okay. I'm excited to see how this one turns out. I think I would have put Rexar second out of my picks and Freezing Trap at the bottom.
So Bloodyface has an extremely good turn here. He just doesn't know it yet. He doesn't know what the secret is, so he has to consider all the worlds where that isn't Wandering Monster, and all the other secrets do have some disruption for him. But yeah, this is a real power
Straight
play.
into the killer set Saturday.
Yeah.
And this
Amnesiac
Kibler.
honestly looks like he's under massive effort just not to tilt on camera
If-
right now.
Bloodyface continues to play like he's playing at the moment, and you know, I'll be completely honest and get the draws he's getting at the
Yeah.
moment this series.
Can't deny it.
Kibler is a prophet at this point. Kibler is the new Sottle, guys. If this continues, because this has been
Wow. I mean, I don't think there's any way to take that other than a compliment, Raven.
for who?
Take your pick.
Yeah, there you go. These are just the cards you need to win the game. There's no super in-depth analysis going on. Even a one health 3-drop.
Smokes a 3-drop with a candle shot. Okay.
He's just not enough.
I mean, Amnesiac has every tool in his deck to go long now. So the initial game plan of just murder him by turn 6 or 7 is clearly not going to work out. So
You're tracking some godlike.
he does need those value tools, and value tools is what he's got. But mid-sentence, Bloodyface tracked into Houndmaster Shore.
Yep. No real qualms about the pick in that tracking for me, at least. There is again, you know, we did see the tracking kind of save Bloodyface a tiny bit, but there is just a slight gap in his plays for the next turn or so. But Amnesiac needs that window and needs to make it work. And look at this skill. But Bloodyface playing around Mossy Horror with the Kelsa.
Expertly.
Yeah, what a guy.
So yeah, Amnesiac just going to settle in, and it looks like he is going to be rewarded for the Deathstalker Rexar pick. It does give him at least some kind of window back into this game. Being able now to try and contest value with a hand that's running somewhat dry here from Bloodyface.
Just play it.
You want a 3-8 on the board, don't
Yes, drop the Mosse. You're about to pass. That confident. I guess with one Spellstone, could you can maybe just be a bit blasé with the mind
you?
control
I thought
tech,
about
think,
it, seeking
because
hero power as well, yeah.
you've seen one Spellstone already. Like, is the second one coming down going to make a huge dent if you've already got something on the board and you've already got the board itself?
I think like the better argument here is that Mossy Horror doesn't really do anything anymore. He's seen Secret Keepers and Diamoles come down, so like, yes, there's a couple of them hanging around in the deck, but like Rexar isn't going to make a beast that Mossy Horror is going to be able to snipe out.
Leok from Animal Companion,
and then,
one of.
Yeah, exactly. And then, you know, the Spellstone itself is 3 attack.
And it's a
minion,
3/8.
so, yeah,
We've mentioned
it's a 3/8.
no Hunter's Marks. Like,
Yeah.
this is popping for 3 a turn for a very long time, maybe the rest of the game. And this is what's great about. I said Bloodyface had to, you know, fill the next couple of turns with stuff, but he does have the reactive plays. He just hovered over it for me as if he was listening. The Candle Shot and the Hunter's Mark means that, well, your first good beast is getting killed unless it's got stealth quite easily.
Iron Cowl was an option there for Amnesiac to begin with, which is about the only answer he had originally to this Houndmaster Shore. The 5-mana Poisonous Rush did appear, but it ends up being too expensive a lot of the time to even end up picking. And yeah, it is going to be the Owl Zombies that comes out.
Just play the Scale Hide. Sorry, just play the Mind Control Tech, I guess. Stalkers can still have some use. Maybe you play both? What's your opponent going to do?
It's a great question.
Just hit him in the face and play both.
It's an excellent question. I mean, Bloodyface can be looking at this hand and just be thinking, hey, how do I set up a world where I just play King Crush on 9 and kill him? Yeah.
Doesn't I mean, I was gonna say one freezing, you don't really play around it anyway most of the time, but also we know it's gone as well, so you can't even bounce the King Crush to try and dodge the replayability, making it 11 mana.
There's also the play if you think that like this one board could win the game, where you just go all all in this turn, play both minions and Hunter's Mark the guy, so you just have full health on everything.
Engaging TC-130 into dislocator.
Are you just ever worried about just the one taunt? You can just throw the 3-3 in if you want to trade, I think. You're worried about the one zombie that's like, he's just made one, not played it, right?
Yeah. I think the 3-8 value trade works out better in that world, though.
Oh, sure, yeah. I just forgot how much health that Mossy's got.
It's a big old mossy boy, Raven.
So, explosive. Let's just play all 3 traps, right? Snake, explode. Oh, I can still do it. I was thinking like one snake, explosive, wandering monster. They all kind of, when their powers combine, make up something that
they
might
do
be able
one
to kill the board.
mediocre thing.
Right,
Yeah.
but you know, that one. You've got to think now. If my opponent is playing minions like this, there is no death rattle synergy in hand.
Correct.
So you think, if I can clear this board, is that the window that is needed to even win this game? Maybe those 3 secrets do it better than, I'll be honest, from the looks of things, 2 mediocre beasts. When our powers combine.
Yeah, so
Captain Amnesiac.
Snake Venom Strike is basically it's just a board in a can, right? You just make a board out of your secret.
Nearly adds up to the damage you need to clear this off.
Right.
Well, crazy turn.
Play your egg and Hunter's Market. Pretend there's an explosive trap there. Could be kind of fun.
Why not?
Oh, actually, he's got an attack on his Devilsaur Egg, right? Because it's Keleseth buffed, so he'll just likely be able to charge it into something with the secret combination.
So attack him with the dagger first, I think?
Seems right.
Means you, the general reason almost always you attack him with dagger, especially with so many traps, is that you soak 4 damage hit by doing nothing here. Like, you don't take any damage yourself.
That thing's kind of a big deal when you're living in the King Crush Murder Them plan.
Does he just not kill it?
I think there's a very real world where he doesn't kill it, yeah, but he needed to see all of the secrets resolved to see what kind of world he's in.
Quickly.
This charging, this rushing Devilsaur Egg is just so absurd now.
Kill the poison off, get a 5-5. 5-5 can attack as well if required. But I think I'd leave that 4-2 up.
I was going to say, did Bloody have time to like calculate all the damage outs here?
Yeah,
and be able to
it's
figure this out? I mean, it's lethal if you go face, obviously, but did you also have lethal if you traded? So if you sacrificed 4 and he gained 6, you'd have 10 extra. You still have him covered by quite a distance, right? If you trade? I don't know.
I just like doing this. What possible thing could happen?
I'm honestly in agreement with you. I just think it was something that was worth thinking about.
And this is...
But there's no way in the Amnesiac's deck to like leverage that 4-2 into something better than the 4-2, right? That's the big deal. So you might as well just end up going face.
I think as well, what's cracked me up the most about this specific game is, so this Death Rattle Hunter, guess how this game's just not played out?
Yeah.
How this deck plays. Just playing stuff, and most importantly, having that candle shot available. It's been doing some great work.
This is where I would love some spectator improvements on particularly zombies. It's one of the most frustrating experiences in the game to cast.
Guessing the Beast?
Yeah, because I'd love to be able to tell you if any of these cards in hand were relevant right now. I assume that the 2-mana zombies is just a Stone Tusk Ball. Yes, that's just a 2-2 charge. I don't exactly know what's combined with the Iron Beak Owl.
The Penguin, +1/+1, because it's 3 mana.
Oh, it's 3, yeah, of course.
Come on, Sol.
Yeah, Iron Beak Owl's just still 2 in my head sometimes. I don't know why that is.
I think a lot of people would wish that.
Yeah.
Did discover a spell, so that looks like explosive. But unfortunately, the way the Chittering Tunneler works is the spell you discovered damages you. And Amnesiac, 0-3. Game number 1 frame, kicking off the Swiss in the most unfortunate way, whereas Bloodyface showing that control can get the job done versus aggro, even with these quest rogues, these Death Rattle Hunters that I